Hi everyone. I'm fixing my comfy spot here. I see my Woody is peeking around the corner. And I have Woody's buddy over here. She fell down too. Ta-da! I know, kind of creepy, right? So, I got a couple of things to talk to you tonight. Everyone asked me, Donna, how do you travel 4 times a year? Here we go. This book says Vacation Savings. Now, you can get this off Amazon. People selling them already prettied up and cute little numbers, and you've probably seen commercial on how to save money. Well, this one's simple. It's a business card book. I hate to do this to anybody who's trying to make a buck, but I do give these out to people who actually book from me. And this one, if you put $20, every time you have once a week, whatever, right, in a slot, at the end, there's 240 slots, you will have $4,800. That's how Donna travels. So this one just says vacation savings. It's not a destination for any particular vacation, but that's what that is, okay? Remember that. That's what that is, vacation savings. I do it when I went to Disney. I had about, I don't know, maybe $2,500, $2,500 in Disney cards. I had lots left over. Okay, I used it to book my stay at the campground for 10 days. People will say, there's a lot of people out there saying you can't stay at Disney at the holidays for less than $300 a night. That's not true. Okay, I just did Halloween there. So you know, you put $20 a slot whenever we go to work. You know, everything's digital these days. No one has a paper paycheck. Just go to the bank, pull out $20, stick it in there, put it back on the shelf, mark it on your paper, $20 bill. You don't have to you know. And you believe me, you will forget about it, because I didn't think I could do it the first time I did it several years ago, and I've done it ever since. Besides being a travel agent, I've done it ever since. So that is the cool news that I'm sharing with you, how I travel and how it's separate from everything else in my life. So yes, this is how I do it. I have another book in there that's smaller that I did buy from Etsy. It was like $8, but it's just it's a little book. I probably should show you, and it says $1,000 after 1 year. Every week you put $40 in a slot. And it's about this big, about this wide, and I'm doing that one too for the fun. I decided to make that my Christmas fund for next year. That's right, my Christmas fund. $1,000 goes a long way for Christmas, people. So this is it, vacation fund. So I'm cool with that. I think I'm going to get another one, and I'm going to say farm fund, because I do live on a farm. So this is how I stay out of debt. This is how I don't use my credit cards. This is how Donna's afforded to travel and have nice things, okay? Have really nice things. So people have asked me, how do you do it now? I mean, I barely can do this and that. That's how I've always done it. I didn't come from a to-do family. That's just how I've always done it. I've always, you know, I guess my father grew up in a time where, you know, he said the refrigerator was a box that was in the window. In the wintertime, it was great because that's where all the cold food went. And he grew up in New York. And then in the summertime, they had an ice box. Literally, in the bottom half, ice goes in the bottom to keep the stuff up top cool. So I had a great teacher to show me that it doesn't matter how much you make. If there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so now on that part, my bad news. My bad news is we've been talking about passports and how I've been telling you not to listen to these people that travel on birth certificate. Things are changing all the time. Well, I'm about to tell you some bad news. I hate being right. Now, there was this couple just recently was going to come to New York and leave Southampton on a cruise ship because they're from England. And they were going to go on a 32-day cruise. It was going to go to New York and then all the way around, right? They got to the port and found out they couldn't go because their country has a travel visa. That's right. Countries now are acting activating travel visas. So if you want to go somewhere and you live in a country, you have to have a travel visa. It's about $30 in England, American money. And what happened was they were driving home. They went to the nearest thing. They applied for their visas. They got their visas. First of all, they talked to the cruise line. They got it in writing. Always get everything in writing. That if they could get their visas, they can meet up in New York. So then they had to pay for plane tickets. Now this is extra cost because they wanted to go on this cruise. This was their cruise. It was like $9,000, okay? And I'm being kind with that price. Then they flew to New York, waited for their ship. And most ships won't allow you to come on, but this ship did. So we're not mentioning cruise lines, okay? So they got on the cruise line, and they're having a great time. So, but not all cruise lines will work with you that way. That usually rarely happens. And so you got to be prepared. Don, another blogger, travel agent, Don is in Canada, and he travels to America and everywhere all the time. He says he's leaving for a cruise soon. He doesn't need a visa. But in the next 2 months, he will to travel. He will then have to apply now. That's a new cost for Don. Every time he travels, he's always on the go. He's got to get a travel visa. So here in America, we don't have a travel visa, and I don't think we'll ever get one. But if I probably want to go to England or Ireland or anything over there, I'm going to have to travel visa. I'm going to have a visa to get into that country. So you all that say you can travel with a birth certificate, that may be coming to an end very soon, because countries find out if they can charge a travel visa for you to come in or to go out, they're going to do it, because that's a lot of money for that country. That's a lot of money. And just think, if there's like you, your husband, your 3 kids, your grandmom, your aunt, they're making some money off you, okay? And a lot of people don't know about these visas. These people lived in England. They didn't even know they had a travel visa now. And they had to literally, they just totally lucked out. But I bet it was a great shot. They're not mad at the cruise lines. They're not mad. They're mad at themselves for not, because they're travelers, that they didn't check for this, that they did not check for visas. Not the cruise line to tell you you need a visa. That's your job, okay? That's your job. So be prepared for these new changes. Even if you're flying over there to do a 30-day, that's my ultimate vacation, 30 days over in England, okay? Or Scotland, when my family comes from, or Ireland, I'm going to need a visa. I just can't go there now. So, and you know, that's understandable. I'm not upset about it. It's a fact. I knew it was coming. I've heard in the past, before the pandemic, they all talked about it. And when people get sideswiped, because you're at the pier and you got all your paperwork, and boom, where's your visa? There's nowhere on even on my booking page it says, oh, for this trip you're going to need a visa. I think they should have that there, but they do not. So be prepared if you're going to another country to make sure that you do not need a visa, and you keep checking to make sure you don't need a visa, because that information can change all the way up to the very last minute. Like Don says, the web page is not up yet for where he lives, so he can get his visa. So he's hoping he doesn't have to cancel his cruise. So, you know, it's scary to know that something so simple now is becoming so difficult. And this is why I just don't do cruises. I decided before the pandemic that I was going to do all types of travel, and I was going to enjoy life as I know it at 60, and I'm 60, and that's happening. A dear friend of mine, Carol Ann, who's traveled all over the world, who's done world cruises, okay, she influenced me to do so. So that's all tonight. I am so sorry for this video. I wish I had better news. So if you don't have a passport, get one. And if you're going on a cruise that's going to another country, check for visas. Please check for visas. Because you get to that cruise port, they're going to tell you you cannot get on this ship without a visa. Okay? All right. Ta-ta for now.